Everybody, Zach here with the Indiana Weather Network, starting our live coverage here Thursday, June the 13th, 2024. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for a large portion of northern Indiana. It's identifiable through the yellow box here. So cities like Gary, South Bend, Logansport, Fowler, Indiana, Auburn, Indiana, Elkhart, Indiana, those are all under a severe thunderstorm watch, which expires at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that severe thunderstorm watch is for large hail, which is 1 inch is severe hail, large hail, and isolated very large hail events to 2.5 inches. That's very large hail. Scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles per hour, and a tornado or two possible within that severe thunderstorm watch across northern Indiana. Again, outlined in the yellow, shaded in yellow. Right now, we do have several thunderstorms that are firing in the Chicago metro area, southeast of Chicago, from northeast Illinois across Lake Michigan into southwest Michigan. This is going to be the line to focus starting out. These storms are going up very quickly, especially the one here southwest of Michigan City. You see how fast that just popped up on radar. We're talking just a few scans and boom, there it was. So these storms are going up very quickly, and they have or will have potential to be very large hail producers as well as damaging wind producers. You could see significant large hail in there as well, with the 2 inch in diameter or greater. A storm near Orland Park, Illinois, also going up very quickly. Our team of storm hunters is still moving into position. The first guy we got out there is at the top of your screen, Reese. He'll move into position so we can see these storms here shortly. He's over here in the Plymouth area, and these storms are heading right at him. So only a matter of time. But these storms are going up very quickly, especially the one near Michigan City. Go ahead, Nathan. That one's going up very fast. Clear, stand by. Um, Making sure everybody's on their Life 360s. That's 10-4. I got you. But we're just going to be patient here with storms that are just now starting to fire. We'll see. We'll see the progression of these storms here over the next few scans. But this storm southwest of Michigan City really going up as it crossed over land. That's right on top of Indiana Dunes. So hopefully nobody's out there at the Indiana Dunes right now. Not a good time to be swimming. Let's go down to our. Let's see what the hail is, because that's going to be the first concern is the hail, and then they'll go into a damaging wind threat later. But we're not really updated yet on the hail on the integrated liquid, so we'll come back to that. A tornado too is also possible with these storms today. We don't want to rule out a tornado. Um, the environment that we see doesn't really support one, but when you get these really strong updraft storms and all you need is a little bit of wind shear and you have a random tornado somewhere. Happens all the time. Huntington, yeah, Huntington's under threat today. I don't think they're in the first watch. They're not. They're just outside that first watch, but close enough that you should be thinking about severe weather tonight. These storms aren't going to last very long. You can tell by just how skinny the severe thunderstorm watch is. It only goes a few counties, 4 counties or so. Uh, these storms are going to go up, and then they're going to do what they need to do, and then they're going to go away. This could be a pretty quick night, and then you'll have a second round later on that won't be as severe. Yeah, we're looking at Northwest Indiana right here. This whole map is Northwest Indiana. These storms are really going up very quickly. About 15 minutes ago, I told the crew that I wasn't going to go live yet. And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, 5 minutes and we're going live because these storms went up so fast. Let us know where you're tuning in from across the state tonight. Let us know where you're checking in from. A lot of us are safe tonight. Fortunately, especially southern Indiana. Southern Indiana has just been wrecked by severe weather all year, so they needed a break, and now it's the other side of the of the state dealing with it now, far northern Indiana, pretty much from Lafayette, Fort Wayne, and north. That's where the concern is right now. Later on, we're expecting storms further south, maybe down towards Indianapolis, but not as significant as what's going to happen across northern Indiana. So, because when the sun sets, you lose a lot of that energy that's needed, and so you're not getting widespread severe weather. But it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time right now, so these storms have that daytime heating. It's really hot outside. On top of the moisture that's in play, your instability. This is a really good time for storms to fire if you want severe weather. If you don't want severe weather, it's not a good time. But when they said storms are firing 4 to 5 p.m., pretty happy about that in terms of seeing weather at all today. Otherwise, it was just going to be a quiet night of maybe some storms. But Waynetown, I have family that lives in the Waynetown area, right off of 74. Um, no, they're not going to get that far south, Cassie. Not the Bloomington area tonight. Rensselaer, yeah, Rensselaer is like right in this area, so you'll need to be watching. You're in a severe thunderstorm watch. Anywhere in the severe thunderstorm watch, that's gonna be the main focus. So if you're not on the screen right now, you do have nothing to worry about right now. That's the most important thing. If there was a severe storm in Evansville, I would definitely be down there looking at it. But this is the area of concern. This will probably be the main area of concern for the night. Let's switch over to this radar here. So we got severe thunderstorm warning up in Michigan. But you see all these little dots right up and down this line. These will all be storms at some point. They're forming right off a narrow corridor of instability that's allowing for them to uh, intensify as quickly as they are. If these storms were firing way out here, you probably wouldn't have severe weather, or even back here, because the instability needed is right in this region. So that's why we're getting storms firing along that line like that instead of just being random and all over the place. But because these little dots here are in that area, I expect those to be storms at some point as well, which will move east southeast towards the Angola area probably at some point. Let's see what we got here. Now we got a hail core starting to pop up now. Indiana Dunes. Hopefully nobody's at the Indiana Dunes. If you are, let us know what you got. Be very curious as to whether you have hail falling right now. Indiana Dunes, there's a hail core starting to pop up on that storm now as it comes ashore. So the first areas to be concerned with that storm, let me actually put it in motion so I know which way it's going. Yeah, so first areas of concern would be the LaPorte area, probably Michigan City as well, Holmesville, Westville, all the way down to Stillwell. That'd be the first region, that first area in northwest Indiana to be concerned about now that we have some hail core popping up there. As always, we have storm hunters out in the field watching everything for us. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Reese out right now. He's our only guy out at the moment, but he's looking probably due west. I'll pull up his Live 360 here and take a gander. But he's looking probably back at those storms that are coming in from his west, and just waiting for him to intercept those storms here. Probably pretty soon. These storms are going to be moving pretty quick. You got storms that are firing out ahead of the main line too, west of Plymouth. That'll be on top of him probably within the next 45 to 60 minutes or so. But these storms are moving fast. It's a weak cold front tucked in behind it, which is allowing them to develop and get going. And now we just kind of wait. I'm actually going to update his location real quick to match where he's at. He is. I'm going to put north of Plymouth, so y'all know where he is sitting. Um, Patience is key. It's kind of like the last storm system we had where we came live and we were just right before storms went severe and we kind of just patient. Let me answer some questions here. Yeah, West Lafayette, just south of the severe thunderstorm watch right now in the Lafayette area. You guys just missed out on it. Clinton, you're south right now. No need to be concerned just yet. Rensselaer, Indiana house. Right here's Rensselaer. Storms are moving in from your northwest. We'll watch your area pretty closely here. South Bend area storms are moving into the South Bend area. We'll be there within probably the next hour. This is that giant mess. I'll switch back over so you guys can see the giant mess right here. These will eventually all be, well, maybe not all, but there'll be severe thunderstorms tucked in here. We have a special weather statement out there. This storm that's coming into the Michigan City LaPorte area is the best looking storm at the moment. If there's going to be a storm producing hail, it's going to be this one. And this is the type of day where you don't want to mess with the hail because it will be very large hail in some cases. We're talking, yeah, we're expecting this. We don't go live for non-severe storms, that's for sure. We're definitely expecting severe weather somewhere in northern Indiana tonight, this evening. But this storm right here will be the first one. And like I said, the hail will be large today, so you don't want to mess around too much with storms and hail. It's already got a pretty good hail core starting to go up as it crosses on shore, coming off of Lake Michigan. Someone asked about tornadoes. There is potential for a tornado or two tonight. However, the risk is low. And now, remember when I said those storms form that line? You can now see they're all starting to go now. So just like 3-4 minutes ago, I said that these little dots here eventually become storms, and they're already becoming storms. These storms are going up very fast. I haven't seen storms go up this fast in a looks like they just issued a small craft advisory there on Lake Michigan. So if you're in a boat or something out on Lake Michigan, probably should come shore. Going to get large hail in there. But obviously, the storms here back in northeast Illinois, northwest Indiana, as they move this direction to the southeast, that's going to be the main concern this evening for this area. Michigan City, South Bend, Valparaiso, and eventually down towards like Syracuse, Angola, and perhaps an additional watch needed later near Fort Wayne, depending on how long these storms survive. That's the big question for the night: is how long do storms actually survive? Do they last a long time? Can they keep the energy and continue towards Fort Wayne, or do they go up, stay in the severe thunderstorm watch area, and then die off as they move southeast? That is the big question. We are expecting them to die off here pretty soon. It's not going to be like a 6 hour type of event. It's going to be a shorter event today where you just kind of get storms that go up, produce severe storms for a couple hours, and then poof. And then the round that comes out of Illinois, we'll watch later on as well and see what that does. And eventually all those storms will spread southeast across the state down towards like Indy Metro, but we're not expecting anything too crazy the further southeast that you go. But yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing all right. We don't have any severe warnings yet. We're expecting them pretty soon, though. We're expecting them pretty soon. We're just kind of being patient, getting everybody's information out. There is a severe thunderstorm watch out, which I can pull up for y'all. It's in yellow on your screen. I guess I can just do it on here. So the yellow area on your screen is the severe thunderstorm watch. So just misses Lafayette all the way up, just north of Kokomo, just north of Marion, just north of Huntington, north of all these big cities. But right there, that little yellow colored area, that is your severe thunderstorm watch. That severe thunderstorm watch will go until 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. It will be for scattered large hail and isolated very large hail to 2.5 inches in diameter. That's big hail. That's dangerous hail. Scattered damaging wind gusts to 70, also dangerous. You don't want to be caught outside in that. And a tornado or two. So that's the idea. Thunderstorms are expected to continue increasing in coverage this afternoon, while posing a threat for large hail around 1.5 to 2.5 inches in diameter. Severe and damaging winds of 60 to 70 mile per hour may also occur as convection moves east-southeastward and potentially grows into one or more small clusters through the afternoon and early evening. So that's the severe thunderstorm watch that came out about an hour ago, and that's pretty spot on of what's happening with these clusters that are starting to form. So well done there from the Storm Prediction Center, getting that out. Nate, your camera is sideways. It'll have to be somehow straightened out. If you have to do it vertically mode, that's fine. We'll work with it. We'll work with it. Put you up there. Nate's joined us. Nate is just probably north of the Fort Wayne area. He has joined the party here. We have some northern people. Yeah, Nate's currently in the Villa area. He'll be moving into. You can see how the difference here between Reese's shot here. It's a little shaky. He's moving on a different road. And the cloud coverage there, and then how there's no clouds on Nate's shot. That's the difference. Pretty cool to see that. Nate is further east, so his area hasn't started to start to get a little bit yet. And update his location. Let's put this in motion so you guys get an idea of which way storms are moving here. So there's this cluster that we're watching now, tucked in from northeast Illinois, coming off of Lake Michigan, moving into northwest Indiana, northern Indiana, moving kind of this direction. South Bend is coming up on you. Some storms there. Michigan City getting hit right now. Valparaiso will be on your doorstep here soon. And those storms will continue to move southeast and eventually start to produce severe hail if it hasn't already. There's some storms there. That storm's kind of weakened out a little bit, probably getting messed with, but that storm to its rear there. And then the entire line here is starting to go up from northeast Illinois across northwest Indiana all the way up to that severe thunderstorm warning in Michigan. One long line of storms that are starting to get going here in that little narrow area of instability that we have to get severe weather. So, any chance? No, not that far. If you guys haven't yet, we posted updates this afternoon at 1 o'clock. That update, that 1 o'clock update, is still valid. So if you're not in a 1 or 2 risk level, I wouldn't worry too much. So pretty much south of Indianapolis, wouldn't worry at all today. Might have some overnight rumbles of thunder if storms can keep going that way for that long, but otherwise, not a huge concern today for anywhere south of Indy. North of Indy, the further north you get, the greater the concern is. So if you're like just on the north side of Indy, a little less of a concern than it is for people on like South Bend. There's a severe thunderstorm watch out, of course, that goes from about the Lafayette to Fort Wayne line and north. And we're getting, storm reports funneled to us, and we'll obviously relay that information as soon as we get it. That's a marine warning too, by the way, not a small craft advisory. That is a marine warning. Let back up. Yeah, but let us know where you're tuning in from. I have no idea where Albion is. Where's Albion at? Give me like a major city, and then let me know where it is compared to that major city. If it's not on the screen here in front of you, I wouldn't be too concerned about it just yet. Yeah, no, I was saying give me a large city that's nearby, just north of Fort Wayne. Okay, thank you, Neil. So somewhere in this area. That's probably not gonna load on mine. I had to zoom way in. So far, so if you're in this area here, we're looking at these storms that are kind of moving that direction. There's still uncertainty regarding how strong the storms are when they get that far east. So we're not 100% sure whether these storms are still severe when they get that far east or if they've died already. There is possibility that you may have to get another severe thunderstorm watch for the Fort Wayne area because they're not currently under a severe thunderstorm watch at the moment. But we'll just have to be patient on that and see how they progress. Once they get to about probably like right here, actually no, probably a little bit further west than that. When they get to like right here, we would start to know whether they're going to survive long enough or not. Right. Zooming on these storms, see what we got going here. This storm's starting to get another hail core on it again. This storm that is just west of the LaPorte. It's approaching the LaPorte area now, just south of Michigan City. It just crossed into Indiana off of Lake Michigan. So Indiana Dunes just downpour right now. I wonder if we can get a camera from Indiana Dunes up to see what's going on there. Y'all think we can? They have cameras there, don't they? Pretty sure they do. Let's see if I can find a camera from the Indiana Dunes area. Beach monitoring. I don't think it's never easy to find, is it? All these websites are just not turned on, so I guess no. Um, but it's probably coming down pretty heavy. From northern Indiana, there's a special weather statement now on this storm. Yep, right here. Special weather statement out for the Michigan City LaPorte storms for gusty winds and hail. It's not quite severe yet. But we'll watch that one. That's been the one that we want to watch for the entire time. Yeah, Reese has got his eyes on the storms to the west. These are the storms that are currently producing some hail and wind. Nothing too crazy though. Looks like they're still really trying to get themselves together. They're still kind of messy and just clustered. So it's really just a patience game here and just kind of waiting to see what they do as they move east. But that one near Michigan City and LaPorte so far is the best looking storm out there. Let me pull up a. Yeah, he's still north of Plymouth. And location is still accurate. He's I think, just on the edge of the special weather statement now. So he's going to have a good eye on this storm that's moving pretty much right at him. So he's in a good spot there. Additional, excuse me, additional storms to the southwest across northeast Illinois need to be watched as well. They're approaching the Crown Point, Maryville areas. If you live in those areas, please let us know. Indiana 511 has them. Okay, let me look at that. Oh yeah, NDOT. I didn't even think of that website. I guess I could just pull up. Let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty nasty out on those maps. Um. Anyways, yeah. So he's got a pretty good spot there on that special weather statement. But the storms, Crime Point, Maryville, Gary. If you guys are in that area, let us know what you got. Still super sunny in South Bend. Okay, yeah, they're coming up on you pretty quick. There's South Bend right there. Storms are moving in now from your west. A lot of lightning in this storm. That's uh, pushing into LaPorte now. I think that one might miss you guys just as south, but these storms back west too could have potential to be severe storms as well. So that's moving into the area. There's a little bit wider view. The yellow background is a severe thunderstorm watch. There's special weather statements out for LaPorte and St. Joseph County for those storms that are moving east. Let's switch Doppler array. Let's go to Chicago real quick. And here's the storms further back to the west that are approaching the Maryville, Crown Point areas. Gary's, a lot of heavy rain. There is a flash flooding risk as well today that is going to be a concern. So just be careful out there. I know this whole area is under a slight risk for excessive rainfall. So you're probably going to have some flash flooding tucked inside somewhere in here. Even if there's no flash flood warning, that doesn't mean you're not getting flash flooding. There's a certain criteria it has to meet. I think it's like a certain amount of rainfall per hour. I don't even know, but you can still get flash flooding even outside of a flash flood warning. But these are the storms that we're watching now. No severe yet. Let's switch back over to northern Indiana radar so we can watch this Michigan City storm. Someone's just said that it was raining really hard. Yeah, and windy. Okay, thank you, Crystal, for that report. We're kind of just being patient here. We're already starting the "what about my county" messages now. Guys, if I'm not looking at, this is the area right here. So if you're not in this area, you're fine for now. Trust me, I got you covered. I'm not going to let something sneak up on you. But there's no need to ask about your individual city or county or anything like that. I'm not going to answer this question. That if I were to answer that question, I'd be talking for 48 hours straight answering everybody's question. But this is the area of concern right now, northern Indiana, anywhere north of Lafayette. That is the area of concern. Yeah, for now. For now. We're going to see how long these storms survive as they come across this region of the state. They might die off, and it is what it is. But right now, the area of concern is Lafayette north, and that's not even including Lafayette. So,
one of my tank sensors went off saying I have low tire pressure, so I'm going to get them reinflated.
copy, sir. Thank you for the update. But right now, the storm hunter we have out is Reese. He's north of Plymouth, and he's got those storms that are moving in from the west. I think I just saw some lightning there in his shot. It's hard to tell. It's a little pixelated, but you get the idea. The storms are moving in there from the west. Dark clouds really starting to overtake him. He is north of Plymouth, between Plymouth and South Bend. So we'll watch his area really closely because those are where those storms are moving in now. The storm that's approaching LaPorte is the best looking storm. There's also a storm west of Maryville. It's starting to look good too. But so far, we have remained sub-severe. Not a whole lot happening. We just got to be patient and see what these storms do here over the next hour or so. Put it in motion here so everybody understands the direction of travel in these storms. Kind of like an east-southeast movement here. So LaPorte, you're next up. Probably starting to rain now. Also looking for storm reports. Haven't gotten any yet from anybody. What's this? Yeah. So no updates just yet, but that's the area. And it looks like these storms are just really struggling to stay intense enough.
Expect some clear skies today.
Intense enough to produce hail. We really haven't had any. They're not really staying strong enough. It's just really struggling. Especially you can see where the hail core comes in and just disappears. There is a slight capping inversion in this area, which doesn't always mean you're not going to get severe storms. They could keep storms elevated, which is why the tornado risk is pretty low today. Now, yeah, there's not a lot of shear ongoing, so it could be that these storms are just struggling to stay strong because of that capping inversion. We'll see here. Yeah, I know. I don't know what that was all about. I didn't even say her name, so I don't know why she started talking to me about the weather. But at least she's on top of it, I guess. All right. Oh, that's an old report. Okay. I thought somebody was reporting pea-sized hail further south, and it was an old report. It's like, oh. All right. If you're just tuning in, we're watching these cluster, nasty-looking area of storms moving east-southeast, approaching LaPorte, Michigan City, eventually South Bend area here soon. Crown Point, Maryville, Gary, all getting hit right now. Nothing too crazy. So far, it does appear that storms are just kind of struggling to remain mature. That storm back west of Crown Point, south of Frankfort, Illinois, would be one to watch as well. But they're really kind of struggling. The only thing we got right now is a special weather statement for wind and hail below severe threshold. You have a severe thunderstorm watch is indicated by the yellow shaded counties. This is where that severe thunderstorm watch is. I don't know where that is. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Mrs. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try that. I'm gonna sound dumb on live stream. Just kind of explain to me where that is, Frankie. Okay, windy and pouring down. Thank you for that. Yeah, this is a cold front. It's a weak cold front, so you're not really gonna notice a difference. After these storms pass, will we get more? We could get additional storms later on tonight, but by then I think they're going to be a little bit less severe. less potential to be severe. I think after these storms are through the area, I think we're done. But this is a weak cold front, but it's not one of those cold fronts where you're going to notice it. It'll be a little bit cooler tomorrow and Saturday compared to like today, but going into Sunday through Wednesday, it's going to be miserable outside. It is going to be very hot with heat indexes potentially into the 100s. Normal temps probably in the 90s. It's going to be absolutely unbearable. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not a fan of the heat. I'm not a fan of the heat at all. Matter of fact, I'm looking forward to winter. I know I just irritated a lot of people saying that, but this is Reese's north of Plymouth, waiting for those storms to move west to east towards him. They're getting pretty close now. They'll be in his area here in the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll be able to have a live shot of what's happening inside these storms, which is needed because we don't have any storm reports right now. So we're just gonna have to wait on that. But yeah, so kind of just having some patience here. Special weather statement continues for LaPorte. There's a lot of lightning in this, so I mean these storms are definitely charged. You can see all the lightning bolts that are popping up here. These storms are energized, but they're just not quite producing the hail that was originally anticipated. These storms back over Lake Michigan have a really good hail core. It's maxing out. They're on the VIL scale. So that storm back that's approaching Michigan City right now has a pretty decent hail core. We'll watch that. They might warn that one if it continues. Oh, nothing in southern Indiana. No, no, no. We are not even close to southern Indiana. Quite the opposite. We are in far northern Indiana. These storms up here in Michigan, remember when they were just dots about 30 minutes ago? They're full-on storms now. That line, that's where your instability axis is. So that's the limited area we have today for severe weather is on this line here. And then that'll push this direction. Just gotta draw my arrows a little bit more better. You guys got the idea though. As the day continues. Yeah, severe threat is northern Indiana today, guys. Nothing in southern. There's I know a lot of people probably have storm anxiety from southern Indiana because they've just been. It feels like event after event, y'all are just getting hammered down there. But fortunately for you, this time around, it's northern Indiana that's getting hit. If you're not under a severe thunderstorm watch right now, don't worry about anything. Watches are in place for that reason. So if you're outside of it, don't even worry about it. So cities included in that severe thunderstorm watch: Logansport, Fowler, up to like Crown Point, Maryville, Gary, Michigan City, South Bend, Angola, Auburn. Cities that are not in the severe thunderstorm watch that I've seen a lot of questions about: Fort Wayne, Huntington, Marion, Kokomo, Lafayette, Indianapolis. None of y'all under a watch right now. We will watch it though. Someone mentioned something about water. Yeah, there's plenty of water here to garden or to water a garden, I should say. Plenty of that. If you get hit by one of these rain showers, there's a lot of rain coming down. And we'll be able to see that here on Reese's stream before too long. We'll be able to see that here very shortly as the storms approach him. He's about right in here, somewhere right in here, and so he's about 30 minutes or so away. This storm is coming up on shore in the Michigan City area. Is definitely producing some hail. Not as intense as it was just a couple minutes ago, as you can see. These storms are really pulsating. I don't like that. It really bothers me. If you all want to know what kind of storms bother me the most, it's storms that pulsate, just constantly, just up and down, up and down. Like, oh, it looks really good, and then next scan, it's gone. It absolutely drives me nuts because you can't really get excited about a storm if it dies, 5 minutes later. But so far, we have gone longer than what I thought we would in terms of severe weather. We haven't had a single severe thunderstorm warning yet. and we are 35 minutes into the stream. So that's good news for everybody. These are more summer-like storms right now. And storms are just kind of going up and down and producing some heavy rain, lightning, thunder, probably some flooding ongoing in there as well. I'll see if I can pull up more traffic cameras here from this area and see if we got some flood photos or not. We see a whole lot in the Mission City area just because that's like the area to watch right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of flooding on the traffic cameras just yet, so that's good. It was a hot one today, off topic. It got to 90 degrees in Lafayette today, 89 degrees in Terre Haute. And that's without heat index. Muncie got to 89, Indy got to 88, Shelbyville got to 90. Fort Wayne got to 92, South Bend got to 92. Those are hot. I'm sure those are close to record breakers if they aren't. For June 17th, I did see someone sent me something earlier, a little tidbit that there hasn't been a 90-degree day in Indianapolis on June 3rd or before June 17th. And it's only happened like 11 times in the last 100 years. That doesn't seem right. It seems crazy. The last time that it got to 90 degrees before June 17th in Indianapolis was May of 2018. It's kind of crazy. Heavy rain, loud thunder. Where are you at, Linda? Oh, wait, never mind. I see you now. LaPorte. Okay. There's hail core on there, so there's definitely hail falling. You can see it indicated by the purple. You got hail that's falling, but there's not a lot of it to issue a severe thunderstorm warning on the Indiana side of things. Michigan doing Michigan things and has a pretty good storm up there. It's producing large hail, of course. Can we check velocity south of Chicago Heights? Like over here, Corey? Is this what you're focusing on? I guess I should be paying attention to that too. There is a potential for a tornado or two today, so we want to make sure that we are not ignoring that. Let's see here. Does that match? No, it's not matched to a storm. I don't see anything just yet in terms of rotation. Unless you're talking about that one. Maybe man, it's gone. Never mind. Storms are just up and down, up and down. I don't see anything worth mentioning just yet. We'll check in here the LaPorte area to make sure we don't have any rotation in here and nothing too crazy. So far so good there. These storms are just not performing as well as I thought, and I know that as soon as I go live, it's what happens. It looks so good coming across the lake, and all of a sudden I go live and I'm like, nah, never mind. But yeah, this area of focus right now, we're watching Reese's live stream. He's north of Plymouth, just waiting for these storms to move east into his area. They're going to be there very soon, and we'll have a pretty good shot of. Oh, there we go. That's a clear shot right there. We'll just leave his stream up for a second here and kind of take a look at what the skies look like. These storms are moving in an southeast direction as they enter Indiana. There's no severe warnings just yet, but that storm near LaPorte is probably going to be the first one that goes if it does. It's got a hail core on it. The storms are kind of struggling to maintain themselves so far. There's a pretty wide severe thunderstorm watch, so patience is always key. You don't want to look at a radar and be like, "Oh, there's no severe warnings," and then just completely ignore the weather for the rest of the night. Things change very quickly. Not even windy west of West Point. Well, yeah, that's not in the area of storms, so that's all right. That's way far south. I don't think there's any potential for like high winds outside of severe storms today. Numerous tornado warnings northern Ontario. Yeah, I saw they were had a severe weather outbreak today. Their tornado warning system up there is far different from ours. Not in terms of like the hazard. The hazard is still tornado. But when they issue tornado warnings in Canada, they issue them for like 4 counties. Like they are large tornado warnings. Or yeah, tornado warnings. Their tornado warnings are span several counties. And so like for example, they issued a tornado warning in somewhere, I don't know where they issued it, but it was the size of the entire northern Indiana area that you're looking at right now. So that's why we're very grateful to have the National Weather Service that can come in here and narrow down tornado warning significantly. Can you imagine being 40 miles away from the tornado and getting a tornado warning? This would be useless. You know, you wouldn't take them serious at that point. Yeah, let's get rid of her. Come on, Corey. Moderate. If you're just tuning in, we are monitoring the severe thunderstorm watch with several storms that are ongoing across the northwest Indiana vicinity. The storms near Michigan City and LaPorte look to be the best right now, but nothing else really happened. Like it's been very, very, very quiet. I don't want to use that word because then you know what happens, but it's been pretty quiet so far. It looks like Michigan stealing the show so far with 2 severe thunderstorm warnings up there for large hail. It's just really messy. There's a lot going on, and I wonder if maybe when these storms kind of get together a little bit, you'll have some areas of hail, but not a lot going on. These storms are going up and down. I think they're getting affected by the cap that's in place. Um, you got hail cores, but not enough to issue a warning. There's your hail there, hail there. Approaching LaPorte area. If you're in LaPorte, let us know what you got because we have nothing to go off of right now. So if you are in that area, send us reports. Let us know. Power flash and my Wi-Fi had to reset. Okay, that's where you at again, Linda? At LaPorte? I couldn't remember. Rolling thunder, raining, LaPorte getting closer. Okay. But yeah, so far Michigan's stealing the show. Not a lot going on here. It's really, really messy. The precipitable water values are really high in this area as well today, which supports that flash flooding, but it also supports messier storm modes where you don't have it's just a lot of rain. So any storm you get is gonna be extremely rainy. What? I got you back online, Nathan. Um, but yeah, so just gotta be patient here. Let these storms move east. If they aren't showing any signs of I'm trying to get logged back in to everything, so I'll be there in a second. Copy, you're good, sir. Thank you. But yeah, so we're just kind of waiting here. I'll put this in motion. Y'all understand where this is going. Reese is in the favored spot right now. He's just east of the storms that are approaching Kankakee and Plymouth. Storms are continuing east. There's got to be flash flooding going on with these storms near Michigan City. There's just a lot of heavy rain coming down in that area, and it's just continued over that area for quite some time. Raining hard in LaPorte now. Okay. Pouring down rain northwest of LaPorte near New Buffalo. Okay. Is that New Buffalo, Michigan? Yeah, right there, due north. Yeah, I see it now. Storms are approaching the South Bend area. It's pouring in Crown Point. But we got our people out there. We're just waiting. That's all you can do. Is just wait. Let us know where you're tuning in from if you just joined us. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I got you. New Buffalo, Michigan. Yeah, it's definitely coming down up there. We thought about while we have you guys in here, we thought about expanding Indiana Weather Network a little bit. We wouldn't get rid of this page at all, but we would expand to like Illinois and Ohio and stuff like that. We've mentioned on the page a couple times, but we'd love to hear everybody's feedback on that. That way, we don't have to sit here and wait for Indiana to do something. We could just zip up here to Michigan and talk about Michigan's severe weather if we wanted to do that. So that's an idea we had. Of course, we are all ears on opinions regarding that matter. Oh, you're from Ontario, Douglas? That's cool. That's awesome. Got Canadians in the stream. Just past Shearville. Okay, heavy rain, thunder, and Laporte. Thank you guys so much for the reports. That's awesome, though, Douglas. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys are staying safe up there. I know there's a severe weather outbreak happening that far north. I don't know how Environmental Canada, I think it's what you guys call it, Environment Canada. I don't know how they do things up there as compared to the National Weather Service down here, but hopefully you guys are staying safe. That would be great for surrounding area, help people travel. Yeah, we've heard a lot of that. People just traveling outside the state to like nearby states would love to have a wider page. That's something that we're probably going to discuss tomorrow. I got it up and running. It's there, and we were going to post something this afternoon, but I decided against it just because it was such short notice that it was kind of a sloppy thing I was doing. So, we're gonna discuss some stuff tomorrow and maybe get some out on the IWN Facebook page about it. But I think it'd be cool just be able to bounce around, have chasers from other states that you guys can watch, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. I have relatives in Southern Illinois, and she posts her what she gets is what I. Yeah, good point. Yeah, if it's moving northeast, yeah, whatever they get down there, you get up here. And the thunder, you're right, on top of Laporte now. No wind, raining crazy. Okay, so there's no wind on that storm that's near Laporte. So these storms are just kind of lame. Not really doing a whole lot right now. But I'm gonna let them get up to Reese so we can see firsthand here on stream what's happening. But yeah, they're not looking all that impressive right now. I don't know if they improve or not. Only time will tell. Oh, let him get his stream back up. Looks like we lost both of our storm hunters due to connection issues. That's okay. But the special weather statement does continue. I believe that includes South Bend as well. For just gusty, it says gusty wind, but if you guys aren't reporting wind, then it is what it is. Something's rolling in, large storms approaching. Yeah, we're definitely watching that. Here, I can switch up here. What part of hold on, let me find it. I don't know my Canada geography very well. Windsor. You'll have to tell me where that is. But I don't think I've ever clicked on Canada radar sites before. These are storms that are happening in Canada. They look better than ours. Severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can actually go over and watch other areas and stuff, Canada side of things. But yeah, definitely storms rolling in there into the Detroit area, across the river from Detroit. Okay, I got you. Somewhere right in here. It might not pop up. I have a weird setting um on my maps, but I got where you're at now. Yeah, we gotta watch those storms. That's producing some pretty big hail right now. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts on that one. I guess the hail isn't as big as it was. It was pretty big, but not so much anymore. Kind of calm down a little bit. But watch that storm. It's wind. Warn for wind right now. Back to Indiana. Messy area of storms ongoing right now. We have a guy that's actually driving into the storms up here in Michigan. We'll go to his stream here in a second. Give you guys a little bit of taste of what we want to do with the expansion project and go to other states. But that's the plan. We want to go to other states, nearby states, and do some stuff there, like severe weather coverage in like Illinois, Ohio, northern half of Kentucky, southern half of Michigan, and kind of just expand a little bit. Different page, Indiana Weather Network would still be here. We would still have people monitoring Indiana 24 hours a day as we do now, pretty much. Maybe not 24 hours, but like 16 hours a day, we're watching Indiana weather. So, but that new page would expand to neighboring states where we could get a wider audience for one, and two, be able to talk about stuff that's coming through Illinois. Have Illinois chasers that you guys can watch. And then when it gets into Indiana, we switch to Indiana, talk about Indiana, and so on and so forth. Speaking of which, there's several storms ongoing out west in that severe thunderstorm warning area. They got baseball size hail there, tennis ball size hail there. I mean, they got all kinds of stuff happening out west. I feel like Indiana is always on the boring side of things. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of times they're on the boring side of things. And that's why we want to do this expansion thing. And Doug is going to drive into these storms in southeast Michigan so we can take a gander and get you guys an idea what's happening there. And he's live now, so we'll switch to him here in a second. Let him get a little bit closer. But this is the area we're watching for from northeast Illinois into southeast Michigan. Indiana side of things has remained pretty calm so far, pretty quiet. As they approach like South Bend. South Bend's going to get a lot of rain here soon. If you guys have flooding, let us know. Flooding is important. We'd like to get that information out so that people aren't driving, 60 miles an hour like they normally would. Instead, they're being a little bit more cautious when they're traveling. And because, especially at night, I don't know if you guys ever drove at night and drove into a puddle of water. I actually just did this recently. Just recently, I was driving on a city street, fortunately, because I was only going 30 miles an hour, and drove right into a puddle of water. Did not see it at all. It's very hard to see water at night on roadways, so we have to be a little bit cautious. That's why flooding is important. Is this happening now? No, I'm not happening now. Yes, Cassie, this is happening now. Yeah, this is live feed. You are watching us live. Indianapolis just posted something. Let me take a look here. Okay, yeah, nothing that I don't already know. But you're watching several streamers here. We're watching Reese because he's got the first set of storms. We're also watching Doug in southeast Michigan, and eventually it'll get to Nate, where he is somewhere near Fort Wayne. I'll pull his location. Let's see, Reese is north of Plymouth. Nate is east of Albion. Oh, that person earlier with the Albion, yeah. And then Doug is in southeast Michigan, approaching the storms that are moving his area. I think his house is actually in the path of that as well, so watch that. Let's pull up Reese real quick. He's got the storms that are approaching the Plymouth area now. This is just north of Plymouth. These storms are moving into the area. We finally have a severe thunderstorm warning, guys. Yay! Go ahead, sir. Copy, sir. We have our first severe thunderstorm warning. Everybody clap. Yay. It only took 54 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning for Schneider, Roselawn, Shelby, Forest City, Indiana. That's going to be for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. National Weather Service in Chicago is the issuing agency on that one. That storm moving towards the Rensselaer area at some point here soon, so monitor that closely if you're downrange. Let's switch over and make sure we don't have anything like rotation-wise. Nothing to be too concerned about just yet. There's your hail core on this storm that's severe warned. As it crosses the state line here soon, heading that direction. So Rensselaer, just have your head on a swivel for that. Don't be caught outside in large hail, obviously. But that's our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day. We'll watch that one closely, obviously. Reese looks like has a pretty cool shot here of the storms as they move into his area. So that's the storms that are approaching, that are pretty much going into Kankakee, Indiana right now. He is north of Plymouth, awaiting. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, north of Plymouth, near the La Paz area. And he's just sitting patiently, waiting for those storms to come in. But that's a live shot right there of the storms. Let me check comments here. Everybody clap. Yeah, it's got a pretty good excuse me, pretty good hail core on that one. But this is a live shot from north of Plymouth on those storms that are approaching the area. I'll switch it back over to Doppler here and so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. So obviously severe thunderstorm warning, first one of the day. Right there for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Doug, just FYI, I lost your. Never mind, you're back on. Probably going through a bad service area. Doug is. It's that Michigan service. This continues. The severe thunderstorm watch does continue as well. It'll go until 9:00 p.m. Severe thunderstorm watch can be identified by the yellow colors here, the yellow shade. So all these counties, if you know your county and if you know your geography, if you're in this county, you're under severe thunderstorm watch. Your phone should have told you that as well if you have like a weather app. Fort Wayne's not included, which I thought was very interesting that they kept that west of Fort Wayne. Probably unclear and uncertain as to how far southeast storms would get. Meanwhile, we could use a bit of rain down there in south central Indiana. I understand that. You guys have gotten a lot of severe weather this year, though. That's been southern Indiana's thing. Is the severe weather this year? I think like we've had 32 or 33 tornadoes in Indiana this year, and like 20, maybe 25 of them have been south of Indianapolis. Now, where you're at? Where are you at? Like, nearest city? It has been mostly like Evansville area. I-64 corridor from like Evansville to Louisville a little bit. Pretty active this year, especially the Evansville area. And then southeast Indiana as well has been pretty busy.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Overall, though, we beat our. Okay, Shelbyville, Columbus. Okay, I got you.
Are you able to hear me?
Go ahead, Doug.
I'm in between Jackson and Ann Arbor right now. Everything seems sub-severe at the moment. There's some good lightning to my north towards Lansing area. I think the main threat in this area right now is probably going to be the lightning. Some small hail was reported in the Lansing area. And there's some really good wind gusts as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Doug, for that. He's on this storm up here in southeast Michigan. Like I said, we're just kind of going to other states, checking on because we have people from other states as well. So we're just kind of taking a look. But that's his storm that he's on with that damaging wind threat as it approaches the Jackson, Michigan area, approaching Ann Arbor. Doug is en route, about to intercept that storm. We'll keep a close eye on that. This is his shot from that area. So you can see the darker clouds off in the distance. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Thanks, Doug, for letting us know there on that update.
Most definitely.
All right. Heading back here, let's switch back over to Reese and take a look at what this storm near Plymouth looks like. Yeah, I just see that. Yeah. Kind of messy, really sloppy. Probably some heavy rain tucked in there, maybe some flooding. But it's overall really not hugely impressive right now as that storm moves east. But it looks like it's starting to form a line, so we'll see if that enhances any severe threat. Instead of it being just really, really, spotty and just messy. It's starting to actually maybe form a line, so that could enhance a damaging wind risk as well. We'll switch over to the severe thunderstorm warning that we have out. This includes Schneider, Indiana, Shelby, Indiana, Roselawn, 1-inch size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts on that storm. That'll be eventually towards on top of, looks like it's maybe moving more of an east route now. That'll be in the Roselawn, Forest City area pretty soon. Might stay north of Rensselaer, getting pretty close to Fair Oaks and the Wheatfield area. That is the area of concern with those storms, with that severe thunderstorm warning. That's our only severe thunderstorm warning at the moment in Indiana, that is. We'll let Doug get a little bit closer and we'll take a look again at Southeast Michigan. But that is our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day. I thought we were going to go all day without severe thunderstorm warning. I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie to you guys. These storms fired a little earlier today. Typically here in Indiana, we don't get storms until a little bit later in the evening, like 7, 8 o'clock, it feels like, and then overnight. But we have had storms fired about 4 o'clock on the dot, which no bragging here, but IWN said 4 o'clock. So, just kidding. We did say 4 o'clock though, but I guess we did have that EF1 that hit Rushville last month. Yeah, May 7th. Yeah, you had a May 7th tornado. I think it was May 7th. Sounds about right. Just east of Muncie and Salem that had a fatal. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Winchester. IWN went to Winchester and donated a day. We helped clean up and everything like that. So, but all right, back to business. North of Plymouth is where our man Reese is. He's about to intercept those storms as they move east. Non-severe so far. You can see kind of pretty messy. Not a lot of structure going on, but you can just slightly tell where the heavy rain and maybe some hail is being tucked in there. A lot of lightning on these storms as well, so probably have a few lightning strikes at some point here in the near future as that storm, South Bend storms. Okay, yeah, that doesn't surprise me, honestly. There's a lightning strike there on Reese's stream. That honestly doesn't surprise me. These storms are really quite pathetic so far. Underperforming. It is what it is. Indiana. It's Indiana for you. The thing is, we knew that there was a slight capping inversion in play today, and the storm, east of Kankakee down here is doing all right, but it's also not being messed with these nasty storms going on north. But we knew there's. Let me actually pull up here before I say anything. There's additional storms that are expected to develop later on. This is just the initial setup, but I figure we at least have a couple severe warnings on this in first round. But it's going to do Indiana things probably, and it's going to wait until closer to sundown to actually do something, because that's what Indiana does. But there's a severe thunderstorm warning. Yay! Storms in South Bend are not doing that good. We have Douglas, who is in Canada right now, watching these storms. We'll jump up there real quick. Got storms west of Ann Arbor that Doug is on. We're watching him. He's in the top right corner there. He's approaching these storms that are moving out of the severe thunderstorm watch. So we'll see if those start to die off, if that's a well predicted severe thunderstorm watch or not. But that's it. And all this mess back here to the west, which is doing phenomenal in terms of severe weather. That hail core over here is, let me switch to Chicago. That hail core is looking pretty good. Probably some pretty big hail falling on that storm crossing the state line where all that purple is. That's your hail core. Schneider, Indiana, approaching US 41. US 41 runs like right here. So if you're on US 41, that's a pretty busy highway. It goes from Chicago down to Evansville and through Terre Haute. Pretty busy highway there. Schneider, Indiana, Shelby, Indiana, Roselawn, Indiana. Severe thunderstorm warning on that storm. We'll pull up our VIL. Going to give you an idea. It's maxed out. So definitely some big hail falling in there. Or you see those grays, that's maxed out, so it's very big hail. It doesn't go any more than that. And that is moving, I think, kind of this direction. I'll put it in motion here in a second. Looks like maybe the bigger hail core might just miss. It's going to get really close to Schneider Somova Resorts. I don't know how to exactly pronounce that, but I think that's right. That'll start to get some hail here soon, crossing US 41, eventually into the Roselawn area. That is the storm right now. Looks really impressive on radar. We'll see if it stays strong as it approaches some populated areas here. Let's put it in motion. Guys, see the direction it's going there, southeast. Southeast mover. Still watching Reese and Doug stream at the top. Just to make sure we're not missing out on any action, but I'm sure they would yell at me if something was happening. I would hope they would anyway. Those are our two storm hunters we have on now. We did have Nate on, but I believe he is in a bad service area. So they come and go all the time whenever they're in bad service areas. But this is a severe. Yeah, go ahead.
Just north of 94, past Kalmbach Road, there is the start of a wall flood. It is coming together pretty rapidly. So just a heads up, if you're northeast of Jackson, in between Jackson and Ann Arbor, north of 94.
All right, we'll take a gander at that. He's talking about these storms in southeast Michigan with potential lowering ongoing in the Jackson, Michigan area. And yeah, there's a little bit of rotation in there. Really hard to tell. We're kind of in a radar hole here, but I got some rotation there that we'll need to keep an eye on for our southeast Michigan viewers.
You should be able to see part of it on my screen now.
Nope, I think it just echoed. I muted you, Doug, so if you were trying to talk, you have to unmute yourself again. Let's check on this storm. This storm's got some area that's starting to move around a little bit. Remember, it's not a 0 tornado day. There's potential for an isolated tornado or two. And especially with this storm being on the southern end of all the other storms, this one would be the area, and it's got a better core to it as well. This would be the area that we want to watch on here. Hold on. Okay. That's a storm we want to keep an eye on there. Let's switch over to Reese real quick. He's on the storms that are approaching Plymouth, Walkerton, west of Bremen. As you can tell, there's some structure going there, but it's really just kind of a ugly looking storm. Not really all that impressive. Rain just started in Walkerton. Okay, perfect. I mean, we are getting very handful.
Exactly. I step away for a few ready to get ready to leave.
Copy, sir. Thundering, lightning, South Bend. Rain just starting in Walkerton. Okay. Thank you guys so much for the reports. Winds have stayed sub-severe for now. We haven't had anything crazy ongoing. Other than the storm that is approaching Schneider. That's the only storm that's actually performed all that well. This shot is from southeast Michigan, from Doug. Dougie. He's driving into storms that are in southeast Michigan. As we had mentioned earlier, we're looking to do an expansion, so you'll see more out-of-state videos here coming in. It'll be from a different page, but we're definitely looking at doing some expansion projects so you guys can see other states and the storms as they move across Illinois and into Ohio. Looks like he might actually have a nice shelf cloud here. Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of a messy shelf cloud, but that's the storm that's in southeast Michigan at the moment. Pretty good structure on that one. Let's kind of watch that for a second here. I got my eye on the radar still, so we're still keeping an eye on the storm near Schneider and where that hail core is going. Pretty good shot right there. All right, switch back to radar real quick to tune in on the severe thunderstorm warning near Schneider, Indiana. There is the hail core still maxed out as it's moving this direction, approaching Roselawn, eventually Fair Oaks area. Wheatfield, just kind of keep an eye out. Just want to make sure you don't get snuck up on. But that's the best looking storm of the day so far. Just crossed into Indiana from Illinois. We'll step back out here and do a motion so you guys get an idea where storms are moving. It looks like they're starting to go linear now. So we'll see if that enhances a damaging wind threat as they move southeast through the severe thunderstorm watch. Some reports from the media up north in the South Bend area. Decent wind gusts, but no damage. Wind gusts to roughly 47 miles per hour in the South Bend area. That's well below severe threshold. That's actually a special weather statement threshold, but there's not one issued. So watch some. But these storms are starting to move pretty quickly now. They're starting to go linear, which is something we need to pay attention to here over the next few minutes. Special weather statement just came out now. There it is. They heard me. They heard me talking about it. There's your special weather statement. It includes a lot of areas here. Gusty winds, winds up to 50. So these winds are starting to pick up now. You know, we haven't had gusts over 50 here in a little bit, but now they're starting to pick up. Let's go to Reese's shot here. Let me go full screen. That's north of Plymouth, Indiana. That just went under a special weather statement. The winds are going to start to pick up there. So we need to watch his stream closely. You see off to the left there, Reese, if you want to point me left just a little bit. Yeah, it looks like you might have some decent structure ongoing there. He'll move me to the left. There we go. Beautiful. You can see the structure there on that storm. Looks like a shelf cloud wanting to develop. So I bet he's got a shelf cloud starting to form here, which is a good indicator of a increase in outflow winds and an increase in damaging winds. So we'll definitely keep an eye on his stream. Thank you for that. We'll switch over to Doug here. He's in Michigan. This is a shot of the pretty weak shelf cloud. Actually, might be a roll cloud rather. It doesn't look attached to the base. It's hard to tell, but he's got that storm that's moving into the area here. That is severe warned as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for those incredible shots. Again, we're still watching this line of severe storms here as they move southeast. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for the Schneider, Roselawn area. The counties included in that are Newton County as well as Lake County. Those are the two areas that we're watching there. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail as those storms move to the southeast. Reese, I'm going to watch your stream just a little bit longer there. It looks like you got a nice shelf cloud starting to form. You're in a good spot. Just hang tight there. And zoom back out and go back in where he is. That special weather statement now includes a very large area. So he's like in this area. And so his shot up there and on the left is coming from that area. So I think these are going linear now. I think we're going to start to get some severe thunderstorm warnings for damaging wind here soon. You see how they're all coming together, and they're starting to do the thing. So that southern storm still looks the best. It's still got a hail core on it. You probably have isolated higher amounts in terms of hail diameter. Probably looking at 1.5 inches in some areas there with that maxed out VIL that we had. But with no reports, it's hard to actually know exactly the size of the hail there. At this point, I don't see a potential with these storms may pose a damaging wind risk also. So National Weather Service is pushing out that they're more concerned about the damaging wind risk as compared to the hail risk going forward, which is what we were kind of just talking about. Is that is the focus here is the damaging weather as it gets a little bit more linear. And you're seeing that in Reese's shot there. As you can tell, that is a shelf cloud that's starting to form. It's very obvious now. So these winds on these storms are starting to produce a higher outflow. And what happens is you get a cloud that forms out ahead of everything, and it starts to it'll start to get longer. And so you'll see over the next few minutes that shelf cloud will start to continue to grow to the left of the screen, to the right of the screen as the storms approach him. That's a pretty good shot. Back to radar and put it in motion. Southeast movers going through Kankakee, South Bend. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have at the moment is that storm that is in Newton County, northern Newton County right now. That's approaching the Rensselaer area. Eventually, it'll approach the Winnemac area, Plymouth, Napanee, Goshen, Benton, LaGrange. All those areas at some point will be under the gun for severe weather if it can get its act together. Go ahead. Copy that, sir. That was Reese. He's going to move to the southeast to stay ahead of the storms. Don't blame him at all. So you'll see him moving around here in a second. And we'll keep an eye on him as he continues. But he's going to get southeast. He's north of Plymouth. So what he's doing is now that these storms are starting to go linear and start to produce a shelf cloud, he's going to move probably somewhere down into this area so he can continue to look back and watch the storm as it begins to intensify as it moves to the southeast. Just a reminder, there is a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect. This will go until 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Primary threats, scattered large hail to 1 inch and isolated very large hail to 2.5 inches in diameter. Scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 and a tornado or two. A tornado or two is possible. But the big concern, I think originally the big concern was hail, and we had some reports of hail, but it just didn't amount to what we expected. Now that storms are starting to go linear, you're going to see more of a growth in damaging wind threat as compared to large hail. At some point, you will. Let's go back in here on this storm. Still producing 1 inch size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We'll take a look at the VIL. And it's not as impressive as it was a few minutes ago. You're still getting some grays in there, which indicates large hail as it approaches Fair Oaks. They're not. It looks like they are not going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning just yet. They went ahead with a special weather statement, and that is for gusty wind to 50 and nickel size hail. There's another special weather statement up here, which we need to switch radars. This entire area here is a special weather statement: Kankakee, Plymouth, Bremen, Elkhart. For this cluster of storms that are moving to the east-southeast, going through South Bend. South Bend had a wind gust of 47 miles an hour, so we know that's not a severe wind gust. And so far, these storms have remained sub-severe, but it looks like they're starting to get that line going. And as we just saw in Reese's shot a few minutes ago, it's starting to develop a shelf cloud now. So that's a good sign that a storm is starting to produce some stronger outflows out ahead of the line. So we'll watch that pretty closely, of course. And then out of state, we go up here to southeast Michigan, our northeast, in the Jackson area. Those storms are looking pretty weak now as they move out of the severe thunderstorm watch, probably moving into some stable air and getting killed as they move out of that area. Right now, barely severe warned. 3/4 of an inch is not severe hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's the storm that Doug is on there at the top right of your screen. And so we're just kind of waiting. But these storms are starting to go linear now. So now I'm going to start to worry about damaging wind as they move towards Plymouth, Napanee, Warsaw, Rochester, Winnemac, and Rensselaer. Once Reese gets southeast and back into position, we'll be able to actually see what that storm looks like. We'll give him time and patience for him to get southeast and out ahead of the storms. Storms are moving pretty quick, I think. I don't think it tells me on a special weather statement how fast they're going, though. Oh, yeah, it does. Movement is southeast 35 miles per hour. So they're moving decently. I thought they'd be a little bit faster than that. I thought that maybe a 45 mile per hour movers, but Tiffany said, hi, Kevin. So apparently she heard you walk in.
No, I posted howdy.
Oh, okay.
Somebody was paying attention.
Yeah, Jason said boiler up, so he knows He knows what's up. I got to represent on the stream, you know. Lots of lightning and thunder in Osceola. Thank you, Amber, for that report. Thundering South Bend. Attempting to find reports. Yeah, there's not a lot of reports coming out. Really, the only reports that we have currently are from the comments section. Otherwise, we don't have a lot of reports, which is pretty normal when storms are sub-severe, when they're just not producing as strong as what we originally anticipated. You don't get a lot of storm reports. No one's going to come into a chat room or message us and say, hey, it's raining, or at least they probably shouldn't. It's not really relevant, but we appreciate any reports you guys send us in the comments. I greatly appreciate, because I can look at them directly through the software I use. So every comment I can see. Hi, Tommy. How are you? Nothing here in Milford. Yes, I'm a mind reader. New, yeah, whatever you say. All right, so to catch back up, severe thunderstorm warning for this storm in Newton County. It's approaching Roselawn, or actually, it's going through Roselawn now. It's exiting Newton County, going into the next county over, which I should know. What does it say? Counties on the special weather statement. It's approaching Fair Oaks, starting to rain in Fair Oaks now, probably. Newland, eventually Moody. All those little towns tucked in there will be under the gun. If we go over to our VIL, this is your vertically integrated liquid measuring the hail that's happening here. You see the gray is a really good sign for hail. We like that. Well, I mean, I guess we don't like. I like it because I like severe weather. But it's approaching the Vergy, AX or AX Par area, eventually Fair Oaks. Yeah.
Pull up the map, the road map.
Yeah. Yeah, I need the road map is what I need on here. But they continue that as a special weather statement. That severe thunderstorm warning will eventually expire. And that's all we got for now. We're going to see how these storms progress here over the next little bit as they start to go a little bit more linear. Most models have additional storms developing. You can see a boundary over here in northern Illinois. You see this little boundary here. We'll watch for additional storm development off that boundary that could also move into Indiana at some point. Models were in agreement that there's going to be storms that fire on that boundary. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that, especially now that it's actually there. Let me pull up our mesoscale analysis here, see what we got. But any storms later on will probably be after sundown. I'm not going to stay around that long to talk about all those, because by then they're probably not going to be widely severe. The watch will be dropped and that'll be the end of it. So that won't be until later on this evening. It won't be anytime soon. And they dropped the severe thunderstorm warning. Sad noises. That's the only severe thunderstorm warning we had, and they dropped it. So our little gadget goes away. There it goes. No more severe thunderstorm warning gadget. But thank you guys for tuning in, even though the weather is a lot more boring than we thought it was going to be. I think the capping inversion is playing a factor here. Other meteorologists might disagree. I've seen this several times before, where the environment itself looks really good, but you have a cap that comes in last second and it just is too strong and you can't get severe weather out of it. So what will probably happen is we'll watch this for a little bit longer, and if we don't see any improvement, we will we'll go away until we get severe weather. But we're going to stay on here just for a little bit longer, though. Thank you, Renee. We appreciate it.
Storms here are less worse severe. That's not severely reported. There might be some flooding and some wind damage, but that's about it.
Copy that, sir. Thank you very much. Doug went offline. Storms are starting to weaken up there in southeast Michigan, so we're not really going to pay much attention to those anymore. If you're just tuning in, you're wondering why is he talking about Michigan. That's kind of going off that expansion project that we have in mind to expand to neighboring states, and we kind of tested out tonight with Doug, chasing storms in southeast Michigan. We want to kind of expand and go out. Different page, Indiana Weather Network will stay, and we'll still focus on Indiana here, but At some point, we'll focus on other states as well. But yeah, thank you, Renee, for that so much. We really appreciate it. We try to bring the best coverage we can. We really feel like coverage with live storm chasing, like we're doing here, is just really not offered in the Ohio Valley. You got people like Ryan Hall, y'all, that's really big on YouTube, but there's not a lot of focus on these states in particular. So we try to bring that to you guys, so you guys can see live chasing, live weather coverage on storms. Hey, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning! Yay! So you guys can kind of go ahead. Yeah, sir. I'll take a look. We're gonna take a look at this storm, a severe thunderstorm warned here. First thing we're gonna do is take a look at the velocity scan to make sure we don't have anything funky happening here. A lot of wind tucked inside, indicated by the bright green here. There might be a lowering somewhere in here reported by one of our storm hunters, but I'm not seeing anything that would be too concerning just yet. You could definitely have a lowering in here still without it appearing on radar as such. But we'll keep a close eye on that storm as it moves east. This thunderstorm warning is just for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that's very obvious by the bright green colors. That's your wind. Elkhart moving east towards Middlebury. We'll make sure we don't have any, because that would be no reports yet from anyone there. So, but that is our second severe thunderstorm watch of the day. And that looks to be a due east mover. Practically, yeah, it's for this little area here. A little ball of storms, whatever's going on there, that's moving due east. So Middlebury, get ready. You have damaging wind potential in that storm. It looks like they remain north of the. Is it Goshen or Goshen? I never. Goshen. Okay, that's what I thought. Goshen. North of Goshen, Elkhart areas. That's continuing east across Elkhart County, right along the Michigan state line. There's a storm report out. Let me see here. Storm report out from Elkhart, 3 miles northwest of Elkhart for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So the storm does have a confirmed damaging wind report on that. Probably tree branches down in this area as it moves east and approaches the Middlebury. Closer storms to Elkhart. Intensify just hits. Yeah, so 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts being reported on that storm as it moves east right along the Michigan state line. My guess is it's that little ball right there that's probably causing the trouble. Back out here and kind of show you guys what's going on a wider scale. All these storms that are attempting to become wind producers, as we had mentioned about 15-20 minutes ago, our focus is now on damaging wind and not so much hail. As these storms become more linear in nature, they are remaining weaker still, though. We really don't have, we're approaching the scattered severe thunderstorm limit, which is what a level 2 is. You need probably another 1 or 2 severe warnings tucked in here somewhere for it to be, for me, personal opinion, to be considered a scattered severe weather event. We've had one down here and one up here. That's definitely isolated in nature. So so far an underperforming system, but we'll keep a close eye on as these storms are still in a severe thunderstorm watch. It's still in an environment that could produce severe weather. Back further southwest, this storm has always obviously been a focus. This got a special weather statement on it now. Looks like additional cells popping up to its west of Rensselaer, approaching Kentland and eventually Fowler. Watch that closely. It's a pretty wide severe thunderstorm watch area too, for not having storms in this entire region here. So it's just literally the watch is out for the expectation of severe weather, not because it's ongoing. Just the environment and just knowing meteorology, pretty much. All right, so really the focus on that Elkhart storm right now, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Let me check comments here, see if we got anybody in that area. Can I ask for 70 with a nice breeze? Yeah, good luck with that on Saturday. It's gonna be hot on Saturday, unfortunately. What concert are you going to, Tanya?
That's tough. Just go with that.
Oh, is it the Martina McBride concert? Heck yeah. I'm hoping to be there for that. Still for grabs. How far south was dip tonight? We're not expecting storms to get too far south tonight. Might hear some rumbles of thunder across central Indiana, but no severe weather is really anticipated south of the Lafayette area. You might get an isolated severe storm somewhere in this area tonight. That would be the greatest concern for maybe an isolated severe weather event tonight. Anything south of Indy, to include our headquarters here, as you can see on the map. I forgot I put that on there. There's our headquarters. Yay. Anything south of Indy, you're pretty much in the clear. I don't expect severe weather that far south. Nobody does. I thought he had a really nice shelf cloud there for a second, but it looks like it was just a normal cloud.
It's a massive watch box. How many snakes?
Actually, that's several watch boxes. There's several watches out here. This one has no storms ongoing in it. It's just empty. But the reason why they're doing that is because of the environment. That one storm goes up in that area, it's going to be very, very wide, all the way back to Kansas, even western Kansas, northwest of Dodge City. So a lot of severe thunderstorm watches ranging from the Kansas Colorado border all the way up into southeast Michigan. Several hundred miles worth of severe thunderstorm watches out right now. Oops. Our focus obviously is up here. We're going to go back to this Elkhart storm where there's a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Take a look at velocity, see what the wind is doing here. And you can see right there, that bright green is where that higher wind is. That's where the severe wind is taking place. No additional reports have been submitted just yet, but we're waiting on them. If you live in this area, Bristol, Goshen, Middlebury, in far northern Indiana, Elkhart County, definitely let us know what you got going on there. Your reports will be huge for us. Monticello, no, I don't expect anything horrible in Monticello. Maybe a thunderstorm. One might be severe in your area. There is a severe thunderstorm watch out for the Monticello area, but it's on the very edge of one, so not really expecting anything too wild. But but we're watching pretty closely here. Let's go over to our VIL to make sure there's no large hail. Again, I'm not really focused on hail too much now. It's damaging wind is going to take over as the main concern here with these storms. All these storms are still looking really just messy and sloppy. There's really no organization with them. I think the cap is just eating them away. I think the severe thunderstorm watch is still valid and still warranted for this area simply because of the environment. And we do have reports of a couple of severe thunderstorms now. So I'm definitely not saying that's not an accurate severe thunderstorm watch. Lots of rain, wind in Goshen. Okay, thank you for the report. Stay with us. Let us know what you got. That storm is getting pretty close to you now. And we'd like to know what's going on. Didn't that Kalamazoo area get hit with a tornado? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got hit. I think it was an EF 3.
Yep. One that ran across the top of the state.
No, up in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I think it was an EF 3 up there. I can't remember the EF rating. I know it wasn't a 4. I definitely would remember if it was a 4. But yeah, I remember that tornado emergency. Yeah, that was the day where we thought Indiana was going to go off, and then Michigan had like 4 tornadoes in a tornado emergency. It was just something about Michigan and Illinois. It just jumps right over Indiana every time. That's why we're expanding. That's why we're going to do more. But we're following along with our storm hunters. At the top there, Reese is moving in front of these storms that are out ahead of the Kankakee area. Let me pull up Live 360 here. I'll get a better location. He is just south of Bremen now. on these storms that are approaching the Plymouth area. Nate is near Topeka, Indiana. So watch him closely, obviously. Which is Topeka's over here, yeah, right here. That's where Nate is, and then our other guy is over here in Bremen. So that's where our two peeps are right now. But really the only thing of concern, that storm looks like it might be intensifying near Rensselaer. We'll check on that here in a second. Is this Elkhart storm as it moves to the east? Bristol just got hit, probably some gusty winds, maybe some damaging winds. It's approaching Middlebury. It's approaching Midway. It's approaching Goshen. All those areas now. East Jackson. Oh, what state, Ashley? Are you in Jackson, Indiana, or Michigan? Darkening over the Detroit skyline. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go back up to Southeast Michigan here in a second. I think the warnings have been dropped up there. Yeah, I think it was EF3. I think in Elkhart. Okay, Jackson, Indiana. I got you. You said wind has calmed down a little bit, but still raining really good. Okay. We are in far northern Indiana right now. We're way up here. We're so far up that we're on the Michigan border. Let's jump back down to this Rensselaer storm just to make sure here. It's got a hail core on it, but it's on the very southern edge. And that's when you get these type of rotation, right? When those storms are way down there. We want to watch that. That doesn't look too concerning though. Let's check the hail since that storm would have and then you got some hail in there right where that rotation would be too, so it indicates a strong updraft. So that storm is still producing some hail, but it's likely sub-severe, so it's nothing too concerned about. But even that smaller hail will hurt if it hits you. Just FYI, I know from experience. Storms that are approaching Kentland now. You got some development ongoing west of Rensselaer, north of Kentland. Keep an eye on that. It's just pretty much this entire area right here has its own little instability axis, and that's what's getting these storms going. That's why they're doing what they do. But they have been rather weak in nature for the most part. 2 severe warnings is what we've had so far. The storm up here near Elkhart, definitely the best looking one in terms of wind. The one that we had earlier near Schneider was really good looking in terms of hail. So, but now that storms are more linear, they're a little less threatening with the hail. It's more wind. Let's go back up here to velocity. Yeah, that wind definitely starting to die off now. I don't really see an expansion of that warning as it approaches Middlebury. The wind has definitely calmed down. It's very obvious from the velocity scan there. So yeah. Let us know where you're at. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have storm reports, please funnel them in. We're gonna hang around just a little bit longer, and if these storms aren't really doing much more, we're gonna call it because there's no need to sit here and talk for 8 hours over 1 or 2 severe warnings. If you feel me, we'll still have our storm hunters out, and they'll still send in content, and we'll be able to get that up to the social media page. And then I'll also drop our new page in the expansion project I was talking about, wanting to get to neighboring states as soon as I can. That way you guys can perhaps follow and support us over there. And if you guys want to know what's going on in other states like Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio, you can do that. This page only has 3 followers. My name is actually on the screen. It's actually right below my face right there. Let me paste this. This is the new page. If you guys want to follow along, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could follow that new page and support us. We'll post some information on it tomorrow, but we'll cover multiple states and be able to reach a wider audience. And then, of course, still covering Indiana. We're still here. Indiana Weather Network is still here. But we're going to wrap up because I have a weird feeling that this is going to be the severe warning is going to be dropped. And I don't really feel like talking all this time. So over 1 or 2 severe storms. This is really messy. These storms are not impressive at all. But you still obviously could get a severe thunderstorm or two out of these. Thank you so much, Amber. It's greatly appreciated. But it's just really underwhelming right now. It's just not much going on. Still want to watch these storms that are firing back to the west, but 1 or 2 severe warnings will be possible as these storms continue to the southeast. Wind would be the primary hazard at this point, with some hail. That's all right, Renee. It's okay. I like putting my name right there so people can be like, "Hey, Zach, what we got?" Instead of saying, "Hey, you," you know, "Hey, Purdue guy, what's what's a supporter of the best team in the country doing?" Like, a guy to my right is a big IU fan, so I just like saying stuff like that all the time. Just really, I'm sure there's a lot of IU fans in here. We have a lot of people from Central Indiana. So, um, but thank you guys so much for the support. Yeah, please like that new page. I just dropped a link up above. You can go to Facebook and type in IWN Weather. We're calling it IWN Weather so that we remember where we originated from in terms of IWN. But we're going to expand to like Illinois, southern half of Michigan, western half of Ohio, pretty much the Ohio Valley. But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. But we're going to log off for now. If things get crazy, we'll come back on our storm. Actually, we'll take a look at Reese's shot here real quick while I talk in the background. But if things get too crazy, we'll come back on and we'll tune in and make sure you guys are covered. We're not going to leave you high and dry. But right now, there's not enough severe weather and the storms don't look good enough for us to sit here and talk because I'd just be dragging it out. There's really not much to talk about. They did issue a special weather statement on the storm that's passing through the Goshen area and Elkhart area right now, probably for 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts and some smaller hail. And they're already trimming back the severe thunderstorm watch out of northern Illinois. So that just tells me that they're really not too concerned about what's going on behind these storms. But a pretty cool shot there from Reese's stream. He is in the Bremen area dealing with all that mess. But all right, guys, we're gonna log off. Please like that new page I just dropped in here. No, I did not say go blue. That did not come out of my mouth. Other than when I just said it right there. He's trying to get me to be a Michigan fan. It's not working. I did like Jim Harbaugh, but now he's in San Diego, so I don't have any reason to like Michigan anymore. Let me look at this report that just came in real quick.
Go Irish.
These storms, hold on. As these storms weaken, they may produce wind gusts. Yeah. So even the National Weather Service is noting these storms are a little bit weaker. The big thing too is when storms weaken out like this, they start to die. You could get strong downbursts. These storms are so weak that they're actually breaking apart from each other. Like they're not even staying linear like we expected them to. I wonder what that does to this storm. It's got a rotation on it, but nothing too fancy. And the hail's still sub-severe as well. But like I said, we'll take a break and we'll step away and we'll watch. But these storms are going to be out of the severe thunderstorm watch within like the next hour. So these storms are already moving out of the severe thunderstorm watch where the greatest concern for severe weather was the entire time. So kind of goes to show that these storms are, one, moving fast, and two, they aren't producing as strong as we thought. But thank you guys so much. We'll come back live if something crazy happens. And if you guys have any questions or anything, make sure you ask in the comment section. Drop us a like on that new page that we posted up above and send us a message. Don't be shy. Get in there, send us a message, and we'll get you guys taken care of. Reese and Nate are still out there. They'll still be out providing coverage for us, and they'll send in reports through our communications chat rooms and everything like that. So we'll be able to forward that out to you guys. If something goes crazy, we'll come back alive. But thanks, guys, so much. I'm Zach with the Indiana Weather Network. We'll talk to you soon.